Hello. This is going to be another sort of novel coronavirus discussion stream. If people want info on certain masks or whatever, we can stray into that. But at the moment, it was more going to be just chatting about sort of developments with it. Is there sort of, any good news, bad news, that sort of thing? Don't forget to like the stream when you come on if it sends out notifications. A lot of people have been saying to me again that it suddenly stopped giving them notifications, even if they've ticked about, which is quite annoying. I'm assuming, my conspiracy theory sort of mind, is that because YouTube's decided to start demonetizing pretty much any videos people have made about novel coronavirus, it's probably because of that, demonetize them, don't share the videos. So, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's much of interest. There's some very good YouTube channels. Is it Dr. John Campbell? He's one. There's Peak Prosperity, is that the name of the other one? Some of them where there's actually like doctors that talk about it that are quite factual. When you say trap the coronavirus, do you mean isolated it, as in isolated for research? But yeah, so don't forget to like the stream and all that. But yeah, judging by the amount of people currently on, I think it isn't going to be sending the notifications out. There's also a weird thing of YouTube where if you do too many videos in one day, they'll notify people of one of the videos, not the others. Yeah, we just mentioned Peak Prosperity. As far as I'm aware, email, yes, it does use the NATO filters, because I think the M85 was just the updated version to use a drinking tube. Yeah, so I won't be on all that long tonight. I'll be on about an hour. I'll be on till 9 p.m. But yeah, latest updates I've seen. There's a link to the map in the thing. There's also one called WooFlu .live, which is another one. It's always worth checking several maps because sometimes the statistics on them don't match up on several maps, or one will have more live statistics and the others don't. Yeah, I think for dinner tonight I'll boil some stuff on the stove and then just have some rice out of a packet, carbs and meat. But yeah, WooFlu doesn't seem to be loading for me at the moment. Oh wait, no, there we go, it's loaded. So on the WooFlu one, it says there's 428 deaths, 20,000 plus confirmed cases. I don't know if they have suspected cases on here. On the other coronavirus map, it's 20,700 confirmed, 427 deaths, 727 are recovered. So is that the same numbers? Deaths are within one of each other on them. Confirmed are very similar numbers again. Again, the stats don't quite match up on each of the trackers, but they're close enough. Well, that bit there, no, that's just where I've had a cut there. If you've got a scab and then you use a clipper on your hair, it will cut it back open, but that will heal over. I don't know what you mean by if share, but what I was saying earlier in the video, if you weren't following it, is with skiing goggles, you can use them absolutely fine with glasses, because most are designed to fit over glasses. So as you can see there, that works absolutely fine. Just have to get these comfortable, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, the problem is obviously full face masks. You have to get the optical inserts because otherwise glasses break the seal. But with these, there being a little bit of gap at the side of these doesn't make a difference, because obviously the important bit is getting this bit tight. Well, as I was just saying, a half face mask, if you were listening, lets you wear glasses with it. It totally depends on what's going on. Well, I think they should be doing what the UK is doing, where if you're coming in from a flight from China, you're put in isolation for 2 weeks until, it's ready. Well, not it's ready, but you know what I mean, until sort of you either don't show symptoms or do show symptoms. Let's just line that up. There we go. So there's that again, like that, and I can actually read comments with this on. Yeah, it's better than normal, Mike, like it used to be. But yeah, I've noticed the videos today were getting less viewers in each hour than they were on other days. I think, like I say, and part of that seems to be YouTubers demonetizing it because I saw some other channels saying the same thing, that, were saying there's something weird going on with YouTube stuff and coronavirus videos. YouTube promoted the hell out of them originally, and now it seems with a lot of us channels they're doing the thing of, oh, it's not politically correct news, don't let people talk about it, kind of thing. Yeah, exactly, MJ. That's more of a worrying thing, because if people who are technically, clean in terms of they said, you're not suffering from the virus anymore, and they release them, but they can still spread it and infect other people, that is quite worrying. Jay says, because you don't answer people, I answer people all the time in the comments, unless you're talking something else. I don't know if you're being a prick on purpose, Jay, are you? Because I answer people all the time. I spend hours every day at the moment going through the comments and replying. Oh, wait, you're a conspiracy fucking nut, aren't you? So goodbye. Nah, Mike, I've blocked him. I think he's one of those twats that keeps coming back with new accounts to talk about weird conspiracy, 5G cooking people, Illuminati, anti-Semitic shit. I'm not going to be doing any political streams, and I'll ban it. There'll be some politics in this stream. I had another person I had to block having a go at me because you have to make these streams political. We have to be able to talk shit about certain countries. No, fuck off. That's the problem with shit like this, is you want to do videos to give people advice on what masks to wear, and then people want to hijack it to make it political. I'm not saying you are an old bandit, but I'm saying I've been having a lot of comments like that. Yeah, I put in my latest prescription the other day, and then the pharmacy, I said about this on the other stream, not the pharmacy, because I picked it up today, but the doctor sent me almost an angry sounding message saying, you need to book another appointment with us to discuss your prescriptions. So I'm hoping it's just, the annual prescription review, but what I'm not hoping is they're going to go, why have you been asking for so many of certain things? Well, because I'm worried. Well, over 23,000 people infected. I think it's about midnight, isn't it? They put the numbers out. How much did the numbers go up from the previous one? So have they done 2 updates today? Or 1? But on most days, the infected numbers go up by about 2k, don't they? Or some days they're bigger. But again, I think part of the problem is you can't trust the figures, coming out of China in some ways, because if you've watched some of the videos coming out of China, you'll see that there are literally bodies in the streets. They're arresting and killing people for filming it. Well, I think a lot of it, Ben, is just taking sensible precautions. Yeah, you can duct tape gloves and masks together, that work. Yeah, I would certainly agree, MJ. As much as, like I said, I only want to get lightly into politics stuff, but I think a lot of it is they don't want to panic people, they don't want to damage international markets and all that sort of stuff, so they're playing it down as long as they can. Because what I've noticed is every day for last week on the news, they'll make it slightly more cautionary and that sort of stuff, but in general, they're still playing it down a lot. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. And if you look below at the Teespring stuff, the XM28 design should start to be turning up now, because Bart got the design finished today, so I started putting them on there. Yeah, well, they've run out of test kits, so they can't confirm cases in China anymore properly. They can only confirm as many as the test kits come back either positive or negative. So let's say they can do 500 test kits a day. If they do 500 tests and half of them positive, half negative, they're only going to have 250 extra numbers. Some sites on the trackers have suspected cases, but the problem is if anybody has a cold or a flu at the moment, especially if they feel really bad and they go into the hospital, they might put that as a reported case or they might not. Yeah, and the thing is, you'll see different places coming up with totally different numbers, so there's no way of really knowing, but I'd say it's a lot worse than the Chinese government is saying. I think, well, we don't know how coronavirus stuff is going to end at the moment, do we? But I think after the initial panic buying ends, mask prices will get more reasonable. But I think a lot more people will be aware, although I imagine there's a lot of people that might go, oh shit, I need a mask for the coronavirus, get a mask for the coronavirus type stuff, and then all of a sudden decide, oh, I completely forgot that I should prep for anything. The thing is, when people say it's just a flu, I can't tell if they're taking the piss out of the mainstream media or if they are really dumb enough to believe that. Because there's been headlines about it. Again, I don't know how you can trust some news sources or not, but I think China's admitted themselves they can't get out enough test kits. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because it says there's 186 people on now and 52 likes. Have I ever drowned because of a gas mask? If I drowned, I wouldn't be here. It's like saying, have you been electrocuted? Have you, if you died, well, I'm here. I don't know why you drown in the gas mask. If it's an S10 without a drinking tube, it's not an S10. It might be an N10. I don't know if the SF10 had a drinking tube. What, you mean like the N95 ones, Chris? Yeah, but the problem is you get a lot of people who are doing really scummy things at the moment because they can make money out of it. Who knows? You'd have to ask all the people researching a vaccine. Lots of them have said several months away if they're lucky. So, again, at the moment, it's more you're just going to have to hope not to get infected with it. I really don't actually trust the World Health Organization on this, though, because they downplayed it a lot to begin with because China's a member and funds them. So, because they were getting, like financial kickbacks essentially from China, that's why they underreported it to begin with. It's a bit like, when you had all the, like really pro-nuclear people saying Chernobyl wasn't bad. Like, I think nuclear power is a great thing, but Chernobyl was a fucking disaster. It's that kind of thing. Well, you'll get some people, because they're so, enveloped in certain things, they won't report accurately on it. Cheers, EKS. But yeah, basically what happened was the first few days of the corona stuff, I started getting more views when it was becoming mainstream news. A few people said, could I do some corona themed videos? And the views on them went out of the park. They were crazy. But at the moment, I'm just sort of wondering, is YouTube sharing my videos properly? Because all of a sudden the numbers have dropped down a bit again. Not like what they were before, but I've also been having comments from people saying all of a sudden I wasn't notified of this video. That makes me think now YouTube started demonetizing all of the corona videos because not ad friendly, even though I think Dettol and respirator companies would advertise on them. It's in the UK, yeah. We've had 2 confirmed cases in the UK, and that number's gone up. But anybody in the incubation period who isn't feeling ill, they won't know about yet. Could have done, because they were saying the day it was in the UK, they were going to have to track all the movements from where, like, the people had been that had it. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. Sorry to keep spamming that, but I'll just say it because generally it seems to help. The more likes you get on the stream compared to stuff. Well, the people they know about are in quarantine. The problem is the people they don't know about. That's always the problem you get with any kind of pandemic type situation. Because the people they know about, they can put in quarantine and follow all the proper steps, which is good. The issue is that if you get people that, they might have come into contact with other people and spread it, they then have to try and go back through the list of all those people. And the more and more people that become infected, the harder and harder that becomes. M15, the Israeli M15 is a very good choice. The S10 does have a drinking tube. I don't know why you're saying the S10 doesn't have a drinking tube. I've never said the S10 doesn't have a drinking tube. My CT12 doesn't have a drinking tube. You already said that on the video, and I replied to you. But maybe you didn't listen properly. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm being annoyed about that. It just annoys me when people make comments. I spend 10 minutes, like I've been saying, every day now. I'm having to spend several hours a day replying to all the comments I'm getting. I'm replying to them, and then some people don't even bother reading the reply and still ask the same question over and over. Define an expired mask. So what do you mean? A military surplus mask that's out of its military period? Yeah, depends totally on the mask. Yeah, that's the thing. You hear on the news, right? The news that accurately reports things. What annoys me is when you'll have some news channel go, coronavirus isn't a problem, don't worry about it, it's not even as bad as the flu. And then they'll also be saying, oh, on an unrelated note, all these places have sold out of masks, sanitizer, all this sort of things. So what is it? Because people are clearly worried about it. And if they've been following what's going on, of course they're going to be worried about it. I don't think it's going to be a global apocalypse that kills everybody. I think it could potentially be very serious. No, this isn't an RAF pullover. It's like, I think, one from Primark or Asda. What does the label say? Is it George from Asda? Yeah, it's one from Asda, look. I've got one of those green ones, the army one. I've got a blue RAF one. But no, this is just a George one. It's a lot thinner material. Also, I think it's more cotton-based than wool because it's not itchy. I don't know what you mean by yellow gloves, but if you mean, it depends what the gloves are made of, the thickness and all that to determine the quality. The colour of a glove doesn't really mean much. Nitrile is better than latex normally. But I'd say for something like this that isn't a chemical weapon, what you'd want is basically just whatever gloves you can buy in bulk to then be able to simply, throw away each time you take them off. And sorry to keep spamming it, but don't forget to like the stream because it seems YouTube shares the videos better. The more people like or even dislike if they want to. It's just because there's currently 245 people on it, says, and 125 likes. Could do with getting the likes a bit higher. I always feel really weird saying that, but I know for a fact, like most channels say, the more times people like, the more it actually seems YouTube shares it. Isn't the reason people wear cotton under the gloves to make them more comfortable? Because I know with some of the NBC suits, you wear a thin cotton layer under them just so the rubber doesn't stick to your skin or something. I haven't seen many trolls on here, Tactical Pirate. I've just seen people asking stupid questions so far or who don't know how to wait for an answer. Well, I'd agree with you in a sense, Mr. Neanderthal, that the Earth is overpopulated and humans do a huge amount of damage to the planet. And really, we would do less damage to the planet if there were less of us on the Earth. Yeah, I saw that earlier, Podge. So at one point you've got the media saying, oh, it's not that serious. The UK government would never say all British citizens please leave China if it wasn't serious, and where you've got China, like not even doing a lot of exports at the moment to try and deal with this. Clearly, the financial implications of that are huge. But then when you get people go, oh, it's just a flu, don't worry. How can at one point they be saying all this and then saying all that other stuff? Live leak can sometimes be a good place. There's lots of websites where WebMs and things get shared because it's harder for the videos to get taken down so people can share them all. The problem is you don't know always if some of these are completely real videos or not. You always have to take them with a pinch of salt. Some videos are obviously going to be from Wuhan or whatever, but some could be filmed anywhere and then, re-uploaded as stuff from Wuhan. I don't think Brexit's going to have any impact on Corona whatsoever. I did hear some stupid people earlier saying Brexit will make Corona worse because the UK are bigots or some shit. But In all honesty, I don't think Brexit and Corona and all that are really going to have much impact on each other. Yeah, the problem is because of the latency period, like the incubation period, we won't know how many people are going to get infected in for a while. That's the problem. What you'll probably find is in a week to 2 weeks, lots of countries suddenly have a massive spike in cases. India, though, as I was saying before, unfortunately, because lots of areas of India, people are, essentially in poverty, packed in, very poor hygiene, sanitation type stuff. And I'm not saying that to be insulting to Indians. I'm just saying that's the situation it is because a lot of people are still in poverty there. Shit will spread very quickly, in terms of if there's an infectious virus. Because if you look at in China, even when they're going into these massive quarantine kind of containment stages, you're still getting a lot of spreading of the virus. Yeah, an M74 if in good condition, £30 isn't bad for that. Why would shaving gel sales have gone up? Shaving gel isn't used as a sanitizer. Can alcohol damage a rubber mask? It would depend totally on the type of rubber, but most no. The M2 I like a lot more than the M1, especially the MC one, but bear in mind it's still made from the melty rubber. I'm not getting any masks out to show that are not in the background, and the British Mickey Masks children, the British version of the Mickey Mouse children's mask is not one you'd want to give to kids today because it's got asbestos in the filter. Surplus masks are on eBay. There are links in the description to like the normal kind of tool station ones or whatever. As we were saying earlier, these JSP ones are very, very good in terms of let's just untangle those from each other. But yeah, these JSP ones are very good. Probably better in quality than a lot of the 3M ones, I'd say, in all honesty. What's the yellow think in the background? There's an orange NBC suit. There's a gas mask hazard sign. There's a fallout sign. There's a CDV 700 with missing parts. Is that the one you're looking at? You won't find a public guide for Avon sizing. Just go off the GP5 sizes and use that basically with the large and smalls. Ah, that makes a lot of sense, Tom. Yeah, I assumed it was something like that to do with either like not getting a rash or it being more comfortable. But yeah, I've seen with a lot of those sort of NBC gears, they normally come with little bits of cotton, and that would make sense. So yeah, it's not just swamped. And that would probably make sense then why, when a lot of places went to like the impregnated NBC suits rather than rubberized one, they didn't bother with it. It would completely just depend on how the mask seals to your face, because basically any respirator might necessarily be different around the chin. Panoramic style face mask doesn't make a difference between two eyepieces. Yeah, when I did a charity fun run when I was at secondary school, I did that in an NBC suit, and I had sweat sloshing about in bits of it. It was pretty horrible, but yeah. Yeah, the Furnaz is good. It's behind me there. Although apparently this is a mask that's made in a few different countries under different names because it's a licensed one. But yeah, it's a good mask. Probably a combination of both, Bill. There's videos of people going around in like hazmat gears with pistols and rifles and like banging on people's doors saying, we need to take your temperature, of all the people who've been blogging videos online. I think China's put a new thing saying you can get 15 years in prison now for spreading misinformation. People who deliberately spread the virus will be shot, apparently. So define deliberately spreading the virus. Again, I don't want to get too much into the politics of that sort of shit today, but, commies being commies. What was in, do you need a license for bolt action? If you went to a range and shot a bolt action in the UK, no, you don't need a license. Where you can like rent them at the range. To own a bolt action rifle, that would be Firearms Certificate Section 1. I think certain calibers are harder to own than others, but as said, I've never gone for an FAC because you need to like use it a certain amount of the time to have it justified. There's all these sort of... I imagine that's quite painful getting that sort of shit in your eyes, but yeah. Like being in a summer or humid climate would be like a horrible place to be in NBC gear. I can definitely understand people thinking it's quite comfy if you're in a cold place, like if you're in Finland or Norway doing NBC exercises, probably keeps you nice and warm. But yeah, you wouldn't want to be like in sort of the jungle somewhere doing it. 60 quid for an S10 at the moment, young rail enthusiast, isn't a bad price at all considering what they've been going up to. Depends what you need to filter, Mr. Reddit. P100 is the same as P3 in terms of particle filters, but bear in mind that's not for chemicals, that's for particulates. Not yet, Michael. I'll order one at some point, the GVS Eclipse, and do a review of it. It seems pretty good from what I've seen, but again, I got around to getting that JSP one today that I've been putting the links on for, because these are still in stock on UK, like Amazon and eBay, and they're actually very good for what they are. Right, the guy just spamming the chat I'm going to get rid of because he's not putting anything contributing to it. Thank you very, very much. Is FP5 ABE or ABEC, and what level? As far as I'm aware, FP5 does have ammonia protection, so that would be ABEC, but it's probably AB2 EK1 P3. I did have an FP5 like document that came with one of the filters, but because I don't speak Polish, I think I showed it in one video, but using like a Google Translate thing, I think it's AB2 EK1 P3. It's definitely P3, and it will definitely be AB2 because pretty much all modern NBC filters are organic and inorganic vapor level 2. But I'd assume acidic gases and ammonia are level 1. Yeah. Do you mean like the Tyvek suits? They're alright. They're like similar to Tychems, aren't they? Is there a shims in the background? Where are you looking? I think the shims I've got in a bag. There's an MM1 over there, if that's the one you're seeing, just out the corner of the camera. There. That's an MM1 mask. What was in the gas mask trademark companies are doing it. Stop now. The problem is it's more than one company. I've never done a full 24-hour stream in the first place, so I can't do another if I've never done one in the beginning. And no, I'm not going to do a 24-hour stream because I need to eat and go to the toilet and all sorts of other shit. Yeah, unfortunately, loads of people spamming the chat again with random shit, but oh well. Well, there's a live stream at the moment, Yamaha. When will be one? Probably another one tomorrow. Probably a similar time. Generally, I stream at this time in the evening because it's the easiest time to do it. Thank you very much, Hopful. How bad is it to use modern 40mm USGI filters past their expiration date for novel coronavirus? Assuming good storage. When you say USGI, do you mean C2 and C2A1 filters, or the current M50 filters? Oh, if it's 40mm, it'd be C2 and C2A1, wouldn't it? Absolutely fine. Bear in mind, C2A1 doesn't have chromium in, and regular C2 does, although I've never found chromium to be really an issue. It was kind of more of a scandal about low-quality filters at the time of the chromium leaking. But the P3 bit in it will last ages, just because the M40 filters were well made. So C2A1s aren't going to really expire anytime soon in terms of fall apart for particle protection. Yeah, no problem, Natalie or Natalie. If you're asking me, I've already got some Scott Pro 2000 P3 filters. I don't have any of the combined vapor ones. Right, thank you, Eternal Lab Coat. I really appreciate it. But yeah, glad people can help you. Because the thing is, on somewhere like a Discord as well, there's other people that will have different opinions to me on some masks, and then you get more of a mixed opinion. Obviously, I have a job as well as YouTube. The problem is, though, it's the NEETs that will inherit the Earth, I imagine. Thank you very much, Animaniacs Rule. I keep seeing your name and thinking it's like an Eastern European name, and then I remember it's Animaniacs. Right. Sadly, I don't really know, because Hype sent me this one. Apparently, it's called the dot something filter. Oh, yeah, it says there, dot. Duh. Silly me. The problem is, apparently a lot of Russian sellers don't ship outside of Russia for them, or they charge stupid amounts of postage. Hype sent me one for free. Hype has been selling them at one point, but he's run out of stock. Right, sorry, little kid spamming the chat, but you're gone. Oh, I'm just blocking him permanently because he's just been spamming with every message. But yeah, the issue is apparently a lot of Russian sellers that will sell them outside of Russia charge stupid postage. And Hype's run out of stock of them at the moment, so he's not got any more for sale. Really, at the moment, you'd be a lot cheaper off, getting an FP5. But these are quite cool. I think a lot of people would like these just probably to paint them green and have a safe GP5 filter. I'm not going to cut this one open either, because people are saying, can you cut it open? I've only got this one, but if you see if it's visible, I don't know if that's going to be visible though. What I might do, as much as I don't want to cut it open, I might get my wire cutters and see if I can just remove that bit so you can see the paper heaper in it. That's only if I can do it without actually completely damaging the filter. Basically, all I want to do is just take out this top metal bit. But that's probably easier said than done. Oh, that bit spins around. That's weird. Don't know if you saw that, but when I did that, that actually bit spins around. I'm sure it's not meant to, but that's sort of funny. Let me see if I can loosen this up. No, Discord's for donators only. It's not fair on donators if I let anybody random in. I don't know if it can enter through your ears or not. I've heard that, but I don't know if it can or not, because I'm not a doctor and I'm not there, and there's lots of conflicting reports, even with doctors. So my advice would be wear a raincoat or something if you're really worried about it. The thing is, I'm not going to cut open a brand new filter that still works, but what I am going to try and do with this is take out this bottom metal plate so you can just see the paper. And done. I might be able to... Yeah, I can probably use these just to cut a bit of the metal away here. I don't want to obviously damage the filter too much, but if I just get a bit off here, you'll be able to see the paper heaper. So let me work at this, and then you can see the inside of the filter that way. Drop that bit on the floor. Definitely need to pick that up, because that will definitely cut my feet open if I stand on it. hopefully I should have this little bit ripped off in a moment. Ah, right, good, it's starting to move. I just want to do it without horribly cutting my hand open. I also don't want to damage the heaper inside, so I'm going to have to probably cut a bigger chunk away first. But yeah, for what people are wondering, I'm opening this bit up so you can actually, just to prove it's not a asbestos bit in it, because a lot of people didn't actually believe me. I need to get a bit more away to get that bit out. Right, I'll try and catch up with the chat again in a minute once I've done this. But there's like a weird kind of disc bit in here. I don't know what the purpose of that is. Probably like a diffuser so the air goes more evenly over the particulate filter in here. Yeah, I definitely have to find all these flying bits of metal in a minute, but when I finish the stream. Right, so problem is this is like sticky metal as well. Oh, thank you very much, ViteZ. I really appreciate that. Is that Hungarian krona? Which is kind of a weird irony, isn't it, at the moment, krona? But it's not a rare filter at all. They're mass-produced in Russia. Yeah, you can kill it with UV lights, apparently, as well, quite easily. But, yeah, disinfect surfaces, especially if they're indoors and somebody's coughing on them. But thank you very much, Legacy Craft. Yeah, I'll add you on Discord now. I'll pause ripping apart this filter to add you. Thank you very much. But yeah, these aren't rare filters. These are mass-produced in Russia now. If it was rare, I would not cut it open. And I said I'm not going to destroy the filter. All I'm going to do is actually take the top bit off so you can see that it's got a paper heaper in it properly. Right, let me add you, and then I can invite you to the server. Oh, let me add you as well, Dr. Congo. It doesn't like Dr. Congo. It says check it spelled correctly and everything. So post it again, Dr. Congo, and we'll keep trying it until it works. There we go. Right, so there's this fucker out. So yeah, this was obviously just for diffusing the air more evenly across the filter. But yeah, this is the bit you need to look at. See, paper heaper, not asbestos, paper. See that? That's why I've ripped this filter open, so you can see it's actually a proper paper heaper in there. Because this is the thing that Hype was saying a lot of people didn't believe in, but once you've got the infrastructure in your factory to make paper heaper filters, you're not going to keep using asbestos. Thank you very much, Simon. Because, you know, there's no point if you've got the stuff to make paper ones, why would you keep more, you know, paying more to make the, Still doesn't like it, Dr. Congo. Oh, and it worked that time, even though it was exactly the same. Okay, very strange. Again, Discord's friends thing seems to be very strange like that. Let me try and find you on the all list, which hasn't updated properly. Oh, there we go. Who was the person with the load of lines for their name? Yeah, I think the thing people need to remember is that particulate is like kind of the easiest threat to stop, because it's basically just like a dust threat, like very fine dust, but it's just a dust. It's kind of certain chemical warfare agents that are the ones that are designed to, eat through it. I'll be doing a video on a UV light soon, Eric, because I've got one on order. I've got a UVB one on, which is like the suntan kind of ones. I'm just trying to get the horrible shards. I might have to sand this down afterwards. But yes, so there you go. Modern Russian filters do not contain asbestos. You can clearly see that's not the old asbestos brown layer that was in there. Thank you very much again, Ron. I haven't actually noticed a lot of the trolls tonight, in all honesty, just because I've been too busy trying to rip apart a filter. So they've probably not had much luck in the sense of posting messages. I've been playing with a filter and they've already been blocked by the mods, which is kind of funny. I'll just invite that person to the server, why not? Streams get raided quite a lot, that's the problem. If YouTube recommends a stream to somebody normally comes back with like 20 different accounts because they've got nothing better to do. All right, that's good, Jack. Glad it helped. I think WHO is kind of shilling for China at the moment, just in the sense that China's now a member of the WHO. So it really doesn't surprise me that WHO's like, oh no, China's got it completely under control. Don't cut our financial money, China, What I'm actually going to end up eventually doing, I think, is just taking this entire bottom layer off and then maybe gluing some plastic over it in a grid. MC1, if you put a new modern filter on it, would be good, yes. When is your next stream? Tomorrow, probably at the same time. It'd be quite difficult to saw a hacksaw in this sort of shape, wouldn't it? People who donate get Discord ID invite. Cheers, Kevin. They should be absolutely fine. The P100 is the bit that gives them away in the name. But I'm assuming it's both organic vapor, so the brown ones, and they've got a P3, P100 layer to them, have they? Let's have a look. I'm trying to find ones of the actual MSA ones rather than them being sealed in a box. Let me click a link. Is there any pictures to these filters outside of the box? But yeah, the P100 bit means they'd work fine. Oh, I see which ones they are. Yeah, they'd be absolutely fine. It's just like MSA's proprietary version of a, basically, I guess, A1 or A2 P3 filter. Yeah, that is a point. The only problem with particle filters are that they don't really filter smells. So sometimes when I've been working with things that give off horrible smells when burnt, I actually end up using a combination filter just so you don't smell the weird odors coming through as well. I definitely prefer Trump to Hillary, and I'm sure Trump is better than whoever the Democrats run in this next thing. So yeah, I support Trump in that regard. But again, I'm not in America and I can't vote for US candidates, can I? It is possible. I've done it in a video, but at the moment I'm trying to just go around that ridge rather than actually cut the filter entirely open. I would love to know how they actually seal these up when they build them, you know. Ooh, this is interesting. Looks like we've got to the edge of the particle filter there. See that? Yeah, the vapor filters will eventually expire because a lot of them are impregnated with stuff to basically work against certain chemicals. But particulate filters, these bits don't really expire, as Tom is saying. They'll eventually clog and you can't breathe through them because like too much dust or whatever gets in them. But this is essentially just paper in like really thin ridges. Right, I've not missed any super chats from anybody, have I? Sorry, while I've been ripping this apart because I'd have hated it if. But thank you very much, Eric. Sorry. Do they still make those taped-on face sock masks? What, like the facelet type things? What do you mean? Or the like the Soviet PTM ones? Like you get filter socks as well, don't you? Or am I thinking of completely the wrong thing at the moment? Oh, thank you very much, Natrix. Let me add you. Glad you enjoy the videos. But yeah, thank you very much. The nice thing as well on the Discord is it's set up now, so whenever I do a new video, people can see. But what was I going to say? Yeah, every time I do a new video, you get a notification through Discord, so even if YouTube doesn't share them with you, it will still tell you there. The filter sock, Peach. I think originally filter socks were just to stop the filters clogging so quickly and keep moisture out of them. The Soviets really like filter socks. But yeah, just imagine a sock, really, that goes over a filter. That's all a filter sock is. Yeah, that's this short magazine Lee Enfield up there. Sadly deactivated because it's the UK. I can't show you any of them properly on stream though because YouTube changed all the things where firearms cannot be handled. Oh, and thank you very much, TK Pyro. I'll read Ericsson and your thing. Like those cheap Civil War II models, anything similar? I'm trying to think which ones you mean. Civil War II ones. Do you mean like the flapper valve for the exhale? TK Pyro says, what type of mask would you recommend to help protect the body against viruses? Also love the content. Well, for the actual body, you'd need an NBC suit if it was something that could get in via the skin. For the masks, I've been recommending loads of different masks recently. It's not all that important when it comes to masks. Like the cheapest one I recommended today was this one. What's it called? The JSP Force 8. It's just basically a dust mask in the 3M style, but that's pretty good. Really, just get something that you can put P3 or P100 filters on because they're the good particle filtering ones. Thank you very much, Simon Richards, as well. Oh, I see what you mean. Like the ones where it's just a bit of rubber where there's taped on. Not as far as I'm aware. Britain used the C7 in the 50s with that design, and weirdly, they retrofitted a load of the C7s with 40mm filters taped on later on. But no, other than like escape hoods type masks, I don't think anybody does ones with like taped on filters anymore. You know, I think everybody does kind of have more of a standardized filter style. I've got an IBM Model M, so it is, yeah, a weird beige color, like a dirty off-white. I think it will infect people outside of China if people aren't isolated quickly enough who do have it. Well, I said I've already been given some gas masks to family and friends. The issue is a lot of the shit back here is a storage room, essentially. The other rooms in the house are a lot tidier than this, but the problem is this room is just where a lot of shit is stored. So again, if I get containers where they're all neat and you can't see them, it would look neater, but then I can't get any of them out. So, you know, there's always that. Right, I'm hoping I've nearly got all this open now. If you want to cover your ears, just use a raincoat hood. That's the easiest way of doing it without buying like actual NBC gear. Yeah. What Tom's saying is important. Like, you don't want to just have a mask. What you want to do is have a mask if you're going outside. Like, you need to quarantine stuff, wipe it down. You need to, you know, separate yourself from other people if it gets really bad. You know, it's a thing of preparing in all aspects. Because I mostly just talk about old NBC gear, that's why I more talk about masks on this channel. But it's not a case of you buy a mask and you sit in it every day at home. The point of the mask is you use it if you're going outside in a crowded place. You know, so what I think a lot of people need to know is, yes, you need certain features when it comes to a mask or whatever, but really you should be spending more money as well on food and whatever. When I got a British Mickey Mouse mask, it was probably like £30. Right, just ripping off more of this. Yeah, exactly. It's probably the cheapest thing you can do as well. If you just stock up on a load of food and water and like sanitation type stuff and medical stuff, just locking yourself in your house, and you obviously need something for protection in case other people decide to loot you. But yeah, you don't need to spend anywhere near as much as getting all like the other gear. Wash your hands, says Mr. Neanderthal. Yeah, definitely wash your hands if you've been out and about. I don't think you randomly need to just wash your hands for no reason, though. Some very weird comments tonight about random shit that have nothing to do with the stream. Now, I'd say the best tin food is the ones with the longest expiration dates on, but you probably want a variety of different things for different types of nutrition. Now, if you watch videos regularly, you'll see all the new shit I get because I do videos on them. Weirdly, I think the 13 o'clock t-shirt I've got on under this is actually in the video tomorrow, even though I filmed it like a month ago. So you'll notice in the video tomorrow I've got hair again, but that's just simply because it was filmed ahead of time and now scheduled for tomorrow. But it's on the British MD3, the retrofitted Radiac Mark II. So it's nothing to do with coronavirus. It's a radioactive measurement device, but it's pretty cool. When somebody who sells them in Russia decides to sell them in the West, I don't know, because I've not got any of these for sale or anything like that. I've just got one and I'm opening up the bottom so you can see it's actually a HEPA filter inside. Speaking of paracetamol, what I've got, which is good, which you can't even legally buy, I'll cover up the thing with my name on it, but even though you all know my name. Thank you, Aaron. I would say isolate yourself in your dorm sort of room if you have to stay in there. But yeah, on prescription, you can at least get big boxes of paracetamol. In the UK, we have this fucking stupid thing of, well, you can't buy more than 16 paracetamol tablets at a time or 32 from a pharmacy because people can use paracetamol to commit suicide. So, thankfully, one time I saw a doctor, I said, look, because I have chronic pain, can you just write me prescription for paracetamol so I can just get as much as I want? But that's cool. So you can get MREs in Walmart. There certainly aren't any mainstream stores you can get MREs over here. But Mike, if you're interested, Weapon Collector in the chat, and I'm just going to read some of the super chats I've missed. Weapon Collector's done a load of good videos on like homemade MREs, so you can do them on the cheap. So Forever says, I have a modern filter, but I have nothing to give my girlfriend. She gets freaked by full mask. What mouth and nose covering filter do you recommend? I don't know if is that Norwegian Kroner. I don't know what masks are available there, but can you get like these JSP masks or the 3M masks or anything similar? Because these aren't too bad. If you want to get a really simple mask, just get a high quality one of these. Because again, these are like the cyclist pollution masks. They keep particles out of your nose and mouth. But again, the best thing, as Tom was saying, is self-isolation. You know, stay in with food and water and whatever else, you know. Don't go out unless you need to. But again, like what everybody is saying, that I definitely agree with, is in most scenarios, when you know it gets really bad, don't go out unless you have to. The mask is if you have to go out or do something, you know, like treat a relative that you've got in an isolation room who is sick and you're not sick. But the point sort of is, you know, that stay at home. Okay, that's interesting, Tom. So yeah, so it's not actually a meal ready to eat, but it's a meal ready to eat style meal, main meal. But yeah, I suppose it's good that you can still get something like that in the supermarket. I don't know why so many people are asking for a room tour. If you look back enough far enough on my channel, you'll find one. Yeah, I don't know what masks are available in Norway Forever, but I'd say see if you can find some sort of, you know, half face mask one or cycling mask. Thanks again, Eternal Lab Coat. You'd need a 60 to 40 millimeter filter Eternal Lab Coat for that, but otherwise M9A1 is all right. The issue is they're quite old. The Finnish M61 is the best of the M9 clothes, in my opinion. Mark says, I live in Canada. Thank you very much, Mark, by the way. I just bought 3 3M6800 full face respirators and 2097 P100 filters, and I'm planning on buying some 3M69026 P100 multi-gas vapor filter cartridges with these. Yep, they certainly will. But as other people have been saying, especially Tom in the chat, one thing you certainly want to do is, you know, only use the masks in a situation you need to go out and do stuff. Because, you know, for the most part, you want to just be bunkering down if it gets really bad and living off supplies. Yeah, I think over here, Tom, because of lots of immigration from India and Pakistan, a lot of the supermarkets now do start stocking a really big rice bags. But yeah, if you can get a massive bag of rice for a few dollars or pounds, whatever currency in the country you're in, for not very much, that's a massive, like, stockpile, lots of carbs in rice. Well, seeing as the title of the stream is about coronavirus, yes, I have heard of it. I'll be going off in a couple of minutes, by the way, because it's been nearly an hour and I'm quite hungry. I'm going to actually have some rice that's in the cupboard in a minute with a tinned curry. The PBF, it has a combination of particulates and charcoal vapor filters in there. The only issue is the PBF may contain asbestos. I don't know if there's ever been a proper lab test done on it. But, you know, if you were going to use a cheek fit mask and you're in the US or somewhere, get a US M17 rather than using the PBF. Okay, the ones I've got aren't like a thing, like, you know, like an actual MRE, but it's in Aldi, which is, do you get Aldi and Lidl in the US, like the really cheap discount supermarkets? They do like I think it's like 500 odd calorie, just literally chicken and a curry sauce ones, and they do a couple of flavors. It's really high in protein, obviously because it's chicken. So you can buy like the ones where you just heat them up on the stove for like 2 minutes that have a couple of years on the shelf life. And then you can just buy, the rice you boil or, the microwave rice. So what I normally do is just boil, a rice and then microwave, microwave or boil a rice, depending on which type we've got in the cupboard. We normally have a load of each. And then, just heat the curry on the stove for a couple of minutes and then just have a rice with a curry. And then it's like an 800, 900 calorie meal. There's a weird thing as well, as I have to eat quite a lot of calories just because with the ulcerative colitis, I tend to waste away quite a lot. Yeah, camping stoves are good. Well, I think we've got about 2 in the house somewhere. I've never really had an issue with tin food. My doctor thinks, when I've seen specialists, that I probably have, as well as ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel. And I mostly find irritable bowel, mayo definitely tends to set off my irritable bowel. Not all brands of mayo, but some mayos are really bad for it, which is really annoying because I love mayo. There's definitely other things as well. Eating a lot of bread can seem to do it. I don't know if that's just because of preservatives in bread and things like that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that, but that makes a lot of sense because, yeah, they're really convenient, those microwave or boil in a bag things, aren't they? Well, what I get for ulcerative colitis is the actual medication that treats it is what they call pentasemeslamine or something like that. I have it in granules. It's basically you open a foil packet, you take them with just water or whatever, and they line your colon to prevent your body doing as much damage to it. I found stuff that contain palm oil on their own, Eric, to be fine. Again, it's weird. I think sometimes with me it's too much of something. Other things just definitely seem to be no-nos. I think sometimes it's preservatives in certain things. The other thing that really irritates my stomach sometimes is like ramen noodles that have certain preservatives on them. I've definitely found more natural foods tend to be a lot better for irritable bowel and ulcerative colitis. But what do the filters say on the side of them? But I think pretty much all Scott filters are going to be at least P3. Some of like a combination vapor and particulates, but I've never seen Scott filters, I think, which are vapor only. Oh, that's interesting, Rich. I've never had issue with whey protein powders. I've actually got a load in the cupboard at the moment. But yeah, I think for some people it obviously just be different foods, but yeah, I definitely agree more natural foods are better in most places. Like, there's lots of processed foods I really like, but yeah, they're not things that you want to, I guess a lot of processed foods, can be fucking horrible if you have too much of them. Luckily, I do not have issues with beer. I'd be very worried if I had, issues with beer. That's very interesting, Tom. I'll have to read more into that, but yeah, that's quite cool stuff. But anyway, I'll head off now because it's been over an hour, and as I said, I'm really hungry and need to do some dinner. I don't want to leave it too late in case it then upsets my stomach as I go to bed. I've also been downloading Far Cry 5 off Steam. Was Far Cry 5 any good? I finished playing through Far Cry 2 again recently and actually really got into it, even though I never got into Far Cry 2. I never got into Far Cry 4. I like Far Cry 3, but I thought I'd get Far Cry 5 because it's in America rather than, wherever. But yeah, see you everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you everybody that's donated. But yeah, so the thing is either okay to good. That's all right. I can waste a lot of time in it. So good, okay, right. Well, anyway, I'll be off. Thank you everybody that donated. As I said, have a good evening, and there'll be videos on tomorrow. So see you then.